Welcome to DTS Attorneys. Today we'll be diving into the concept of Voetstoots. Often when purchasing a property or a car, you'll see that it's advertised as for sale Voetstoots, and today we'll be explaining what these terms mean. Rian, do you mind just giving a brief explanation of what the term Voetstoots entails?
Yes, Arbu, to understand Voetstoots, you have to go back 2 steps and understand the principles of latent defects and patent defects. Now, a latent defect is a defect which cannot be discovered through a proper inspection of the item which has been sold. So that is a typical instance where a property is perfectly fine, but due to a design error, the foundations might be saggy or the roof might not be sufficient to withstand storm conditions. But until those conditions occur, none of the parties will be the wiser. So those are your latent defects. Patent defects are defects which can be discovered through a proper inspection of a property. And if I say proper, it means that the buyer must actually open the cupboards. He must get into the roof. There were a specific case years and years ago, it is still valid, where a second-hand vehicle was sold. And the court actually found that the buyer of the vehicle had to get underneath the car, because through doing that, he could have seen that there were welding and severe damage to the undercarriage of the vehicle. Now, once you have established those 2 concepts, the next step is Voetstoots. Voetstoots is there to protect the seller of a property which contain latent defects. Now, without the Voetstoots clause, latent defects, the risk of latent defects would go back to your seller. But the Voetstoots clause protects your seller against selling a property which contains latent defects unless they has fraudulently disclosed such defects.
Now, aside from situations where the Consumer Protection Act is applicable to the transaction, which the Consumer Protection Act has pretty much overruled Voetstoots in instances where the seller is defined as a supplier in terms of the Consumer Protection Act. So that would be your instances where you're purchasing from a developer or a car dealership. Aside from those instances, are there any other exceptions where seller cannot rely on the Voetstoots clause?
Yes, it's mainly where the defects has been hidden by the seller through his fraudulent conduct. So that is a typical one where there's debt, for example, and the seller is quite aware, but extensive repairs must be done. And instead of that, he merely takes some polyfiller and paint and fix the symptoms of a debt. So the buyer would not be able to see these defects. So it will definitely be latent, but it would be attributed to the fraudulent action on the side of a seller, and he would not be able to hide behind the Voetstoots clause.
So sellers are not allowed to hide any defects. With the PPRA, has there been any place where defects must be disclosed by sellers?
Yes, the Property Practitioners Act prescribes to the purchaser, to the seller of the property, to provide a defects list, which he must thoroughly complete, and where he must list all the defects which he is aware of. And it always boils down to the fact that honesty is the best policy. If you try to disclose this, it will come back to bite you in the end.
Okay, so as a purchaser, the warning is that when you see the term Voetstoots, the obligation is on the purchaser to perform a thorough inspection of the property, but it still doesn't absolve the seller from acting fraudulently.
Exactly, and yet again, the purchasers must take their time. I see over and over again how purchasers run through a property very quickly and complete the offer to purchase. If you are not there, to go back, ask for more time. And I know it's against our Calvinistic upbringing to open other people's cabinets and cupboard doors, but that is really where damp is hidden. So do those things. If need be, ask the agent to assist you to lift loose racks, or look behind the couch, move open curtains which are closed, look at the wall behind the curtain, go through all those inspections, because any other defects, which is, for example, hidden by a cupboard door, a curtain, a bug, will ultimately be patent defects, and he will not have any recourse whatsoever for defects which he could have discovered through a proper investigation.
Thank you very much, Rian. If any of this is still unclear, please feel free to contact DTS Attorneys.